evening, everybody. My big ass mouth's on the radio again. On YouTube, anyway. Oh, man. What a day, what a day. It was a long one. It wasn't too awful bad, but it was a long one. Let's see. I'm going to go over here to the Skype thing and get everybody added in. Where's my thingy? Doo-doo. No, that ain't it. Where'd it go? There it is. Maybe.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll have to get Vaughn edited on this. All right. So we got the call started. Jump down here and grab Mr. Vaughn West. Get him added into it too. I don't know. I didn't hear back from David, so I don't know if David's going to make it on or not. Kim's going to be on, though. Vaughn's going to be on. There's Kim right there. Good evening, Kim.
Hi. I was just getting ready to walk outside to walk Samantha, so I'll put it on mute.
Okie dokie. And Mr. Vaughn's with us. Good evening, Vaughn.
Hey, what's going on, yo-yo?
How's everything? You just dropped me...
this way.
What's that?
I said it's good this way. Hi, Kim.
Hi. Hi, Vaughn.
So you're getting ready to you just dropped me a thing on Skype there, Vaughn. I'm gonna read it up to everybody. Let me grab it up here on Twitter.
Yeah, that just came through the hot wire. Big time.
So this is out of American News. It says Trey Gowdy's son is missing. Capitol Hill's on lockdown. This is all supposed to be very hush hush. So naturally, it's out on the internet. That's pretty hush hush, right?
Oh my gosh.
Here's what they have to say. There's very little coming out of Capitol Hill this hour. If you weren't one of the half dozen outlets with someone inside, the story probably hasn't reached you yet. LLOD reporter Skip Tethaluda, whatever, reports from GOP wing of the U.S. Capitol. Here's the quote. There are hostage negotiators from the FBI as well as agents from every intelligence service combing through footage of video cameras as to whether this is worst case scenario or just a matter of a lost boy. The media was immediately hushed about those few of us who were in the was hushed out, but those few of us who were there in the beginning heard Congressman Gowdy shout in a loud panicked voice, "God damn it, where is my boy?" After the initial rush, Congress went into a Session 46 lockdown. If you have any press credentials, they don't want you to go in there right now. To continue with this, at the moment, to allow agents on site to do their job, we've asked Skip not to pursue the story until Section 46 is lifted, at which time we will know if there are any Democrats involved and if everyone with connections at all to Hillary Clinton already questioned. What I don't understand this. I think this might be a foo-foo story, if you will. I've never heard of American News, number one, and the way they worded all this just sounds very, very... Why would they add Hillary Clinton into this at the end? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to give it too much weight yet.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to vet it at all.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a good way to start the show off.
I certainly hope that's not the case, though.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. That it sounds like a scam case.
I just deleted it off my Twitter feed, so until it gets vetted out, I'm not going to push that story.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what else is going on, Vaughn?
We could talk about somebody taking an 8-day vacation and a G7 summit.
Go ahead.
We could opinionate that.
Go ahead.
Well, it starts out that if you think back, it's not been that long ago that Mr. Trump got together all the Congress and had a secret meeting. And nothing was revealed of what really became of that. And then before his departure, he hired a man that give him the power to fire and hire people. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, as soon as he left on this departure, there's been some scuttlebutt, which I say scuttlebutt if you understand military terms, that's what it is. It's not vetted yet.
Right.
There's a possibility of 8 to possibly 1,000 employees going to be fired and those are the ones that are supporters of Trump, and they're going to hire in haters of Trump. Now that's scuttlebutt.
Right.
All right, now move on the line here. We've taken Trump overseas, and apparently during the meeting there in Saudi Arabia, he come up with $350 billion deal with them on military arms.
Yeah,
how and where did he have
110
the right
billion of
to
it
do
is
that?
to take
No.
effect right away too. So
And he must have got the right of way through Congress. Wouldn't you think, through that secret movement? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know about that either. But I know that 110 billion of it is to take effect right away. But I don't know where Saudi Arabia is going to come up with 110 billion. The last I heard that they were on the skids too. You know, that whole country was going fucking broke. So I don't know, especially with oil under $50 a barrel still. I don't know where they're getting all it. But they just print up fake money anyway. So what's the difference, right?
So we moved it from that point
Excuse me.
up the road where we're at now. We went to the Pope, okay, and the Pope, they had a meeting, and then he went to Israel to Nutty Not and Rottenhu, okay, and what they're trying to do is create that peace.
Right.
And if they create that peace, at that point, that will cut the Pope in tight with Israel, put Palestine on the curve, and as what I understand right now, Jordan has given rights to America to launch from Jordan into Israel. They're moving, Israel, into Syria. They're moving on Syria right now. They're taking out Damascus. That's their game plan. They want to take out the president of Syria.
Yeah, they called for his assassination.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, in defiance, we've got Russia's already made a statement. You do it, and there's going to be a problem. Okay, we already know that's on the board.
They're talking shit about Iran now too.
Yeah, I know. So we've got little Kim, which set the world on fire by launching the furthest launch missile, and Russia backing it up and challenging America to do the same. So everybody thinking that Russia and China were going to have a conflict with little Kim are totally wrong, because they're backing little Kim.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I was just looking to see if Dave was going to add in, but he's on he's on away, so I guess he's not at his desk. All right. Lance said he'd probably come in second hour. Charlie said he might come in second hour. They're doing barbecues, and I think Lance is watching a movie. Lance is out watching Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah. So he's I guess he's studying for future events or something, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. He does look like the little raccoon, though, if you really want to know.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Come here, Sammy.
Yeah. Oh.
But there's also something on the scuttlebutt out there. Norwegian Army, they're moving out over there too, to Syria.
The Norwegians? I didn't know
Yes.
they even had an army.
Well, apparently Switzerland or whoever in the hell it is up there.
I didn't know. Well, have you got stories? Have you got, like, links and
Well,
stuff?
that came in from Israel News. Now,
Oh,
I don't
do
really
it,
follow
yeah.
that feller, but I'll get that article for you
Okay.
if you want to do something with it. Hang on a second. Let me find out where I'm at here.
I don't really know what I believe out of Mossad's, arm of the media.
Right. Let me grab this. Let me see if I can just copy this link. Copy the link. And let me post the link to you. Get back over here to the call.
I hear doggy feet.
Donkey feet.
I hear doggy
Just like
feet.
a deer.
Doggy feet on the tile
She has
floor.
long legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the link to you.
All right.
Did it come in the right place?
Yeah, it's on Skype, so we're good.
Okay.
Oh, it's actually a video.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to play that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Norwegian Special Forces entering
Oh,
Syria.
I've seen this guy before. No, I don't even. This guy.
I was waiting for your response because I didn't know how you were going to respond.
Yeah, this guy's like the fucking.
Yeah, I know. We know who he is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to play that video. Sorry, Vaughn.
No. But, I mean, he's got some good information, but I don't want you to play that shit. But I was going to confirm the Norwegian Special Forces, which
Right.
is, you know.
Right. All right. Let me get over here to my Twitter feed since Dave's not going to come on with his headlines, and we'll see what happens here.
Okay.
So here's the last story that I tweeted out right before going on the air. This is from Zero Hedge. Everybody's freaked. Washington nuclear facility admits second radiation leak and workers are contaminated.
Oh,
Now,
really?
This is from Zero Hedge, people, so I don't think that this is any kind of fake news bullshit. So, because he usually vets
I've
his
been
stuff
doing a
out
lot
pretty
of
good.
more studying on Fukushima last week, and it's really bad. They're
Yeah,
trying
well,
to
no,
force
this
those
is
people
Hanford.
back.
This is Hanford, Washington. This is Hanford. This is here in the United States. This had nothing to do with Fukushima. Just under 2 weeks since the emergency at Hanford Nuclear Facility in Washington State following a tunnel collapse, NBC's local affiliate King 5 reports that Hanford owners, the U.S. Department of Energy, is scrambling to deal with a second emergency. Signs have emerged that a massive underground double-shell nuclear waste holding tank may be leaking. So this is the continuing rotting of the huge tanks underground that are storing all the liquid waste. You know, that we did a story about this last year. If Lance was here, he'd back me up on that. So this is no news story, but this is getting bigger by the day. The tank is known as AZ-101 and was put into service in 1976. The tank's lifespan was expected to be 20 years back then. Now it's been holding hot, boiling, radioactive, and chemically contaminated waste for 41 years. As King 5 reports, a 7-person crew was undertaking a routine job about 7 p.m. Thursday night. They had deployed a remote-controlled device into the safety space of what is now known as a double-shell tank. The device is used to evaluate structural integrity of the aging tanks. Normally, equipment lowered into this 2-foot wide outer shell of the tank comes up clean, but not this time. A radiation specialist on the crew detected higher than expected readings. Radiological monitoring showed contamination in the unit that was 3 times the planned limit. Workers immediately stopped working and exited the area according to procedure, said Rob Roxburgh, deputy manager of WRPS Communications. Let's see. Everybody was freaked, shocked, and surprised. That's a quote, said veteran worker who was in direct contact with the crew members. The contamination was not expected. They're not supposed to find any contamination in the annulus. That's the safety perimeter of the double-shell tanks. We're, of course, concerned that it might be a leak, a Washington State Department of Ecology spokesperson said. The AZ-101 contamination event comes just 10 days after a tunnel collapse at Hanford that caused a site-wide emergency. On May 9th, they found the 20-foot cave-in. We all know about that. They tried to fill it with dirt. Worse still, as the Wall Street Journal reports, a worker's clothing was exposed to radioactive contamination at the site late Thursday in what Governor Jay Inslee called an alarming incident that should prompt federal officials to expedite their cleanup of the decommissioned facility. Detection equipment was then used to check for contamination that might have become airborne and adhered to the workers. They found radioactive material on one worker in 3 spots, on one shoe, on his shirt, and on his pants in the knee area. According to workers in the field, the contaminated items were removed, bagged, and appropriately disposed of. Did they throw them in the tunnel? Governor Jay Inslee called on the federal government to investigate after the contamination was discovered. This comes on the heels of last week's tunnel collapse. It's another urgent reminder that Congress needs to act and act quickly. So, for all of you friends of mine up in the Northwest, this is a serious, serious story, man. I don't understand why it's not getting any play. You know, the locals seem to be covering it pretty good, but other than that, I don't know why it's not getting any federal airtime. This is a serious incident, man. This place has been a festering sore on this country for 20 plus years that I know of. You know, as far as leaks and stuff that are being reported. And I'm sure back in '76 when they started doing all that, you know, they created plutonium for the nuclear weapons. For Christ's sake, this is America's Fukushima. as far as I'm concerned. Until we have an active nuclear fallout somewhere, this is the worst thing going.
Well, they were convinced that the nuclear waste was like money in the bank.
Yeah.
That's why they took the process of trying to properly store it, which there is no proper way of storing it
No.
unless you have it in a liquid and not in a drum, And by doing so, they snooked the government and the people, the nuke industry did, into this handling of this very hazardous waste. And here we are today.
It's, radiation of any sort above background is nothing but harmful. Nothing
Well,
but harmful.
I worked in the nuclear industry. I worked for.
I don't know of anything on the planet. I don't know of anything on the planet that responds well to radiation.
No, humans don't. I can tell you that.
Well, I don't think
sure.
nothing does. Trees don't. Grass doesn't. Nothing responds well to radiation. I don't even know why they tried to use atomic energy to begin with. All it is a super expensive, super dangerous way to boil water.
That's what it does.
That's all it is. That's all a nuke generation plant does. They boil water into steam, and the steam turns to turbines. You know what? Build more dams. Build more dams. Hydroelectric is much safer. You don't have to build them 800 fucking feet tall, right? You can build dams on little bitty rivers and stuff. You don't have to, put a lock system in to get the boats around the motherfucker. You don't have to build these huge dams. Just build more of them. It's ridiculous, man. Solar, wind, there's all kinds of alternative energy sources. We don't need to be doing this bullshit. But this place, this isn't even a nuclear reactor, right? This place just generated the plutonium to put in bombs. So that's probably 100 times fucking worse.
Right. It's just like the place in Tennessee, during the atomic World War II.
Yep. Rich Jenkins asks, I think he's asking you, old Marine, Vaughn, if you were a Marine. Yes, he was. He was a Marine.
He's asking me if I was a Marine. Yeah, I was in Vietnam. I was with 3rd Marines. I was with military police in Saigon. If that'll answer all I'm willing to give you.
Right.
If you watch my videos, at one time I showed you my some of my paperwork and whatnot that I'm willing to reveal. But as a vet, I don't have anything to prove to anybody. And if you have a problem, you know where I live. Watch my videos. I even indicate.
No, he's
Come
just
to me.
No, he's just asking. He's just asking.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you know me.
I think George is too, it said. At least a
Wow,
couple of
geez, I-
jarheads here tonight, George said. So
George is silly. No, people that've been around me long enough, I go completely on the defensive immediately until somebody discusses exactly what their really intent is.
right. That's what the military does. They make you skeptical of everything and everybody, and sometimes it's a hard cross to bear. Actually, it cost me a couple of relationships that were expensive to get out of. So
It cost me a few ass kickings and given a few too.
yeah, that too. Anyway, moving on. Rich said respect to you, brother. Yeah, Vaughn's one of my favorite jarheads.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate that, brother.
All right, here's another one out of Zero Hedge. I think we need to get underneath everybody's fingernails so they can get some scratch in on it. Deutsche Bank has been sued for running an international criminal organization in an Italian court. Yes, this is for real. This is Zero Hedge, not Onion. This is Zero Hedge. Having been accused and found guilty of rigging and manipulating virtually every possible asset class, perhaps it was inevitable that Deutsche Bank, currently on trial in Milan for helping Banca Monte dei Paschi, that's the Italian's central bank, conceal losses, as first reported back in October, is now facing accusations that it was actually running an international criminal organization at the time. In the closely watched lawsuit, prosecutors used internal Deutsche Bank documents and emails to persuade a 3-judge panel to rule that there were additional aggravating circumstances to the charges the German lender was already facing, related to various derivatives transactions. As Bloomberg's reported overnight, the material included in London's trader's well done message to a banker who is now on trial. The reason why prosecutors are seeking expanded charges against the German banking giant is by allowing prosecutors to argue that the bank's market manipulation crimes were committed by an organization operating in several countries would lead to higher penalties if they win the conviction. Predictably, Deutsche Bank's lawyers Giuseppe Lancone sought to block the move at Tuesday's hearing, saying there wasn't clear connection between the original charge of market manipulation and the alleged aggravating circumstances. The trial for Deutsche Bank managers becomes more problematic after the judge's decision, said Gianpiero Biancolia. I'm murderizing your names, I'm sorry. An attorney specializing in financial crimes who isn't involved in the case. If proven, the aggravated circumstances may increase the eventual jail sentence for the marketing manipulation to maximum of 9 years. So let's hope some of these fuckers go to jail. As a reminder, Deutsche Bank and Japan's Noma both went on trial in Milan in December, accused of colluding with Monte Paschi to cover up losses that almost toppled the Italian lender before its current battle for survival. 13 former managers of Deutsche Bank were charged, and from Monte Paschi, were charged for alleged false accounting and market manipulation. Focusing on the German bank's 6 current and former managers of Deutsche Bank, including Michel Fiessola, Michel Foresti, and Ivor Dunbar, were charged in Milan last year for colluding to falsify the accounts of Monte Paschi and to manipulate markets. So, yeah. They've been found guilty, man. I'm not going to continue with it. Let's hope some of these fuckers actually go to jail and start spilling the beans and dominoes start falling, and, you know, that's what I'm hoping for. Come on, 7!
What do you think this G7 event will? Do you think they're going to be sitting down and talking about a new currency, or do you think that's on the brink?
Oh no, they told us that way back in the 80s. I think it was like on the cover of Economist magazine back in the 80s, sometime in the late 80s, early 90s, something like that. It said that 2018 was going to be the rise of the new global currency. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're trying to finalize their plans. You know, I'm telling you what, the manipulators on Wall Street haven't been able to keep up. You know, the gold, they smash the gold and it comes right back. They smash silver and it comes right back. They smash the market, they bust the market up over 21,000, and then, you know, the natural order of things is going to wind up winning. So, because they can't keep manipulating it like this. They just can't do it. They can't keep printing money indefinitely. They just can't. They can't. It's a mathematical certainty that it's going to come to an end, and we're at the end. We're at the end. You know, all these stories coming out, all these corrupt ass motherfuckers, and the unemployment rate is still going down. It's like 4.5%. Are you fucking serious, man? Do you people know? Do you people have friends? I bet if you go out and grab 10 of your friends, I guarantee you 6 of them are unemployed. At least 6 of them are unemployed. So, it's just bullshit, and the people in this country are getting whiff. You know what I mean? They're getting their asses handed to them financially, and once they get to this certain point, it's called the breaking point. Once they get to the breaking point, then it's over for them. You know, if an average American spends more than 60% of their income on rent and food, that's the max. That's the max, because otherwise they don't have money for anything else, right? Once that gets to 60%, they don't have money for anything else. They can't keep their car going. They can't keep, all the lights on and the fucking TV and the internet and the phone, and they just can't. They just can't. It doesn't cut it. And who the fuck really thinks that you can live on minimum wage? Who still believes that? That's an impossibility. What is it, $7.50 an hour? $10, they want it to go to 15. You still can't make it on 15. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit unless you live in the boonies and everything you got's paid for. They gave you the fucking trailer house or whatever. You ain't cutting it. $15 an hour? Nope. Not if you want to drive. Not if you want to have the internet and all the shit at the house. You know what I mean? It don't cut it. So that's the way I see it. I don't know. That's just one of my little mini rants.
Well, here's one that'll blow your socks off. You realize that Merkel of Germany is the head of this G7 conference.
Yeah.
And you see what she done to her country.
She's an evil bitch, man. I don't give a shit. She's bought and paid for. She's been bought and paid for all of her life. I don't give a crap what any of them say, man. They're going to do what they want to do, right? But the thing that keeps me pumping and getting out of bed every morning is that I know that in the end, Good's going to win and evil's going to lose. I tell you guys that shit all the time, man. That's what keeps me going. Because no matter what they try to do, eventually the shit's going to, everything's got consequences. Everything you do has consequences, and they're going to come around and get bit in the ass.
Yes, they will. We may not be here to witness it, but they will.
Oh, no. I
One
plan
way or
on being
another.
here to witness it because it's going to happen in my lifetime. I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be here to witness it.
Well, here's what's on the game board right now. From my opinion and the way I see life, Sharia law is moving very fast throughout the world.
Yes.
They have to have Sharia law. They have to have that's what the government has to have Sharia law. That's why they're playing hand in hand and pussy with Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is the leading edge of the 3 tribes of Islam. Okay, and they wanted one tribe has to be dominant to bring in the Messiah, so they have to have Sharia law to set forth this satanic thing that's going to happen over in Israel. That's why they're after Mount Hermon in Syria.
You know that the House of Saud is a Jewish sect, right? You know that they're
Correct.
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah. If you look at their face, just take the turbans off and look at their faces. They're Jewish.
Well, who do you think? Well, Merkel is what, the granddaughter of Hitler?
Well, I don't know if that's
actually
ever been
think she's
proven.
Hitler's daughter. I'm
Yeah,
not
they
kidding.
say that it's Hitler's daughter, not granddaughter. That it's his daughter.
Daughter.
But I don't
The
think that's
daughter,
ever been
okay.
proven. I've seen some morphing things from Hitler's face to her face, and it looks like it could be, she could
I
be in the
agree.
bloodline, but nothing's ever been confirmed on that. So,
He had 2 daughters, and after the war, he didn't die.
oh yeah, I
From
know.
all the
He went down to
deep
South
studying,
America.
I thought it was Argentina where he went.
Yeah,
Right?
he went down to South America.
Yeah, that it very well could be his daughter. She's gross.
Well, I mean, the lineage, you can't find anything out on these fucking people anymore, right? You can't find out shit on Obama still, and he's out of office. He's been out of office over almost 6 months,
That's because dead people don't talk, Jimmy.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, once you're out of office, is he going to open a fucking presidential library? Because I want to know his background. I want to know all of his, I want to see all of his college papers that they hid from us and all that shit. I want to see all his
I'm thinking
transcripts.
he's not going to open a library. He's already opened up a foundation, from what I understand.
No, it's a
Some
action.
foundation.
It's an action committee or something, a political action committee. He's gonna he's gonna
okay.
do everything he can to keep the Democrats in power forever and ever and ever. Amen.
Yeah, he's also working to break the country up faster with that little whatever it is.
He was
he's
doing a
got
bang
going
up
on.
job when he was sitting in the White House, boy. He trashed this fucking country when he was sitting in the White House, man.
Yeah,
Just
but it wasn't
unbelievable.
really him.
Oh,
I mean, It
bullshit.
was the people that put him.
Well,
there.
I mean, yeah, that's true. He was doing exactly what he was told, just like Trump's doing exactly what he's told. But I'm just saying that
He
they really put the kibosh on this motherfucker back then, and nothing's changed. New boss, same as the old boss. Blah blah blah. All right.
Yeah, they're in control. It's the people above, all the people that we see that are at the top.
Yeah.
We don't see the people controlling them.
All right. We're going to jump down a rabbit hole here for just a second. I want to show you guys this video. I don't know if if you guys follow me on Twitter or if you follow me on Facebook, you saw this. I want to play it for those of you that might not have seen it. So, and it's only, I think it's like 11 minutes. Yeah, 11 minutes long. Let me get it a little bit bigger here so you guys can see it really good. All right. So you two on the mic, hush.
Hey guys, so I meant to
That's
talk
all.
about this sooner, but I just haven't gotten a chance to. But we are seeing a huge normalization push for widespread aerial spraying to geoengineer the planet. They're just straight up telling us now that this is what's going to happen, and that's just the way it is. They're not asking everyone. They're not taking a survey. How do you feel about being a guinea pig in a planetary geoengineering project? They're not doing that. They're just straight up telling you now that we are living through a test. And that is just how it is. This article appeared in the New York Times about a month ago. Is it okay to tinker with the environment to fight climate change? But see, actually, it's one of those rhetorical questions that they already know the answer to because they are already tinkering with the environment and they're going to continue to do so. So it's really not the question of what you think. It's the question they ask, and then they go ahead and answer it with an affirmative, and then they try to tell you why you should just accept it. In this particular very long, thousands of words article, it's discussing Harvard professor David Keith, who's been sketching his vision. And you just won't believe what it is, guys. It's 10 Gulfstream jets outfitted with special engines that allow them to fly safely around the stratosphere at an altitude of 70,000 feet, take off from a runway near the equator, and their cargo includes thousands of pounds of a chemical compound. Liquid sulfur, let's suppose. Oh, goody, yes, let's. That can be sprayed as a gas from the aircraft. It's not a one-time event. The flights take place throughout the year, dispersing a load that amounts to 25,000 tons. If things go right, and I would say keyword if, the gas converts to an aerosol of particles that remain aloft and scatter sunlight for 2 years to pay off a slowing of the Earth's warming for as long as the Gulfstream flights continue. Oh, great. Exactly the kind of stuff we've been talking about for years and called all kinds of names every time you mention it. So there's a mini rainbow on each side of the sun, equidistant from each other. And then there's this upside down rainbow directly above my head. I've just not seen that before. I don't think there's a single natural cloud in the sky right now. What a conspiracy theorist you are because you think chemtrails are real. You're crazy. Well, now they're going to actually just do that, okay? They're going to do that, and that's just how it is. He's upset because people said that he's like a Dr. Strangelove figure. Gee, I can't imagine why they would make that comparison. Anyway, it goes on to talk about how he's got a broad endeavor that's going to begin with 7 million. It's going to go to 20 million. Their backers are the normal eugenics organizations like Bill Gates. I mean, it's all the same stuff, basically. And oh, by the way, they're planning to conduct a field experiment early next year by putting particles into the stratosphere over Tucson. So if you live in Tucson, Arizona, you're now officially a guinea pig of Harvard and the government and whoever else is funding this research, including Bill Gates and the Hewlett Foundation. So just know all about that. They're not going to come ask you what you think if you live in Tucson. They're not going to send one of those little cards to your house where you can check a box. Do you want to be a guinea pig for geoengineering? We're going to spray your atmosphere. They're not going to do that, okay? They're just letting you know that if you live in Tucson, heads up, literally. And it just goes on and on and on. It's a very long piece of propaganda where they're basically making the argument that this is awesome. See, look at this awesome artwork. It's just so great. It's like little flowers in the sky. But they do, even in this article, admit that there are risks, undeniably, some small, others potentially large and terrifying. Oh, good. I'm so glad. And that they could screw with biodiversity permanently, that they could deplete the ozone. Just all kinds of stuff. And then they go on to admit, down here towards the last part of this thing, that Keith is not trained as an atmospheric scientist. Oh, goody! I'm so glad that we're going to have a planetary geoengineering project where they're spraying tens of thousands of tons of particulates into the air that could cause terrible catastrophic effects. And the guy who's manning the helm on that is not even trained as an atmospheric scientist. What? It just... When they get all the way down here and they say, the fact is, we are living through a test already. So there you go. That's what it is. You're living in a test already, so just basically need to deal with it. And to that, I just want to add that we've been living in a test for decades and decades and decades and decades, and legally, in a court of law, a precedent has been set that it is okay for the government to use us as guinea pigs. That's it. It's already happened. This came out in the 70s, along with all the other stuff that came out in the 70s, that the Army had conducted 239 different biological warfare experiments in the United States over several decades without any telling anyone. No informed consent whatsoever. Supposedly these were harmless simulants, the bacteria that were used, but people died, okay? And one of the cases of this is an article, How the U.S. Government Tested Biological Warfare in America, and it documents this Fort Detrick sent a task force to unleash bacteria on San Francisco.
These aerosols could be spread over large areas. Submarines could release aerosols near coastal cities.
And they carried out 6 different experimental warfare attacks with 2 different kinds of bacteria. The Army blasted the chemicals in 30-minute spurts, producing huge clouds that were up to 2 miles in length. And then they would go to different collection points throughout the city and collect data and assess, how far these things spread. And this one guy had been recovering from a prostate gland surgery, and he wound up back in the hospital with a bacterial urinary tract infection that contained this bacteria that the Army biological warfare researchers had sprayed all over San Francisco. And he died. It went to his heart and it killed him. Then 10 more patients over the next 6 months came to this hospital infected with this bacteria, and they all recovered after long, painful hospital stays. But the point at the time was this was unprecedented. There was no medical literature about people being infected with this bacteria. And so because it was so completely rare, it had never happened, a team of researchers ended up publishing an article about this incident in the American Medical Association's journal Archives of Internal Medicine. And when that happened, then you had the Fort Detrick people going, uh-oh, that was probably our bad. And they investigated it, and they concluded that it was probably their fault that that guy died. It was a secret 4-person investigation that was ordered to look into it. And they admitted at that time that that particular bacteria was actually not an ideal simulant, and they mused over the likelihood that it killed that guy. But despite all of that, they went ahead and justified the continued use of the stuff, saying that on the basis of their study, they conclude that it's so rarely the cause of illness, and that the illness resulting is predominantly so trivial that its use as a simulant should be continued even on populated areas, even after it hospitalized 10 people and killed someone. Okay, and throughout the report, the investigators showed little remorse for the infected civilians because they don't care. Okay, it's not about you. Everyone just becomes data points to these people. They're not people anymore. And what ended up happening was the grandson of this guy who was killed sued the government. He was a lawyer, and he dug into the case and he sued the government over it. See, here's the report right here from the Army, and here's the hearings from the subcommittee. And he sued him, but he lost because it's the government. And during the trial, General William Creasy, the commander of the United States Biological Warfare Unit, got on the stand and said he would find it completely impossible to conduct such a test trying to obtain informed consent. If they tried to tell people it was non-pathogenic particles, 99% of people wouldn't know what pathogenic meant. So because of that, they just couldn't get informed consent, so they just did it anyways. And they continued to do it, and they continued to do it with bacteria they knew was killing people. Okay? This guy lost because it was the government. He was up against the government. He lost. It's a government system, and he's suing the government. He lost. And this is the point that I wanted to make. The judge in the case concluded the Army had been entitled to spray the population without consent under the discretionary function exception in the Federal Tort Claims Act. So this guy went ahead and tried to do Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court, and he still lost. So they ruled that they had the right to do this. And there were other things too. This goes on to document how in 1955, in an experiment, the CIA sprayed whooping cough over Tampa Bay, Florida. 12 people died. But there was no hard evidence, right? Another infamous test in 1966 involved federal agents crushing light bulbs containing trillions of bacteria on the New York subway. And a whole lot of people got sick from that. They do stuff on the New York subway all the time. They sprayed aerosolized LSD in there, all kinds of stuff they do in the New York subway. They just look at the New York subway like they're a petri dish, basically. But actually, that's how they look at the whole country, really. But why did I bring this up? I brought this up and I pointed this out because I just wanted to say that this right here is not them asking if it's okay to tinker with the environment to fight climate change. This is them admitting now that this is what they're going to do and announcing that right now they're going to do it in Tucson, but basically this is the plan. And they're saying at the end of the article that we live in a test already. We're all experimental subjects. All the people Think about all the times you've been called a conspiracy theorist when you say, look up at the sky. Doesn't this look weird? Doesn't this look unnatural? I took this picture in 2011. I think it was in December. It was in Jefferson City. It was a grid. It was a perfect grid over the city. But that's just atmospheric conditions, right? The fact is we are living through a test already. And now they just want to let you know.
So if you guys aren't subscribed to Truth Stream Media yet, you should go subscribe to them. That she does an excellent job. She's a very, very tenacious woman, and so is her husband. This is Aaron and Melissa Dykes. Yeah, I talk about them quite a bit on the show, actually. So I just wanted to get that out there. Very, very heinous. Our government does not give a shit about us. We are merely there to pay some bills. And we don't even have to do that no more. They print all the fucking money they want to.
I think we should stop referring to them as our government.
Yeah.
Because they're not our government, they're corporation.
Yeah, well, it's a bank with an army. Oil companies with armies. You know.
They
Leave
really
a link
are.
to. I'm sorry, Kim. Leave a link to that lady and her husband.
Yeah,
so
I'll
I
drop
can
it to you.
see her.
Yeah, it's all you got to do is type in True Stream Media. Even in Google, it'll take you right to their YouTube channel. So it's just True Stream Media, all one word. But I'll drop the link to you guys. I don't know. That dude looks evil, George said. Let's see. Okay, and I know you guys, and Vaughn brought this up too in the Skype chat. They've sprayed in St. Louis and admitted to it. They've sprayed in Michigan and admitted to it. Just testing out new stuff, man. You know, we got to see what happens. We don't test it on monkeys or whatever because people bitch about that, so we'll just test it on you motherfuckers, right? They go into low-rent neighborhoods, and this is what happened in St. Louis anyway. They put the foggers on top of buildings, you know, on top of some of the tallest buildings in the area that was down in the ghetto area of St. Louis, and they sprayed for over a month. And a lot of people caught the bacteria, whatever they were trying to test out, see, you know, new biological weapon, whatever it was, and died. And it finally just came out, I think, 5 years ago, 10 years ago maybe, that it happened. They had to admit to it.
When did that happen?
It was back in the 60s, I think, or something like that, 50s maybe, something like that. A little after World War II, a little bit, when they started getting all serious about making weapons and stuff and being the Empire of Earth.
Well, it's shortly after infecting the guys there down in Louisiana with syphilis.
Yeah. The Tuskegee Airmen were an experimental shit. You know, they did experimental shit on them. Well, okay, I read a story. I think I actually did something, either tweeted out something, and this was last year sometime. But they were doing medical sterilizations up until the 1980s in the South.
I did that.
In the South, in North Carolina and Georgia and Alabama, they were still doing legal medical sterilizations on people that they thought were mentally deficient or the wrong color, maybe, or the wrong race, maybe, or I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But they were legally doing it up until the 1980s. And then people started filing lawsuits and shit, and they had to stop.
Well, I posted that video. It was live. It happened within half an hour. Well, actually, I did it live because I got the feed live when they shot that rocket on the East Coast of spraying the lithium into the air for some kind of a biological test in the atmosphere, which they did not even say to the fact that the air current was blowing it back across the Virginia area and whatnot with lithium. And lithium is a very serious drug.
Yeah.
For people with, bipolar?
Oh, yeah. Something going on with my shit here. My frame's all off for whatever reason. Let's see if that helps out right there. Dink. There we go.
Well, I cheat. I got you 2 frames. I got you here on Skype and YouTube.
Yeah, I think turning the Skype camera on might have adjusted something on it, so I just adjusted it on my OBS. We'll see if it does it in the room there. Give it about 30 seconds or so, because there's just this big black bar over the top of my nugget, and it's just like I'm out of frame on the YouTube video. So we'll see if that makes an adjustment.
Well,
Okie dokie.
my opinion, case being what we're establishing here at this moment, and I'm sure anybody on the board at the moment, Kim and Jim, will agree, and those that will probably come in, you can't trust
I'm hoping they
the
will.
non-trust.
No.
The track record is non-trustable.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
You know how many years in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, they knew the water was bad? And now they're starting to pay vets that they've destroyed their lives with,
Yep.
that water.
Yep.
I was there, but I don't have any effects. You got to have the damn effects. Friends got the effects. He went to a VA hearing, and because he apparently worded something on the description of his element, they denied his case. But yet they know he was there. They have documentation he was there.
There we go.
You cannot win with the frickin' government, friends. You wonder why us vets are half crazed. We have all we can do restrain ourselves and not lose it. I'm serious. This is serious. If I didn't have the Lord, I wouldn't be here because I would have smoked somebody's half. I'm serious.
Yeah. I posted the story on Facebook earlier today about the veteran that, they just don't give a shit about the vets, man. The veteran that was just laid out on a fucking coffee table in the funeral home, no coffin, no nothing. And some people come on there and tried to be apologetic for the funeral home, saying, "Oh, the family wanted it that way. They couldn't afford the casket and blah blah blah." They could afford the casket. There was actually a payment that was due to the funeral home for the casket. The check, for some reason, the check didn't make it there before the funeral or whatever. So the funeral home just laid him out on a coffee table. Now, they didn't even put a pillow under his head. They just had one of those chalk blocks, like a tire chalk underneath his head to hold it up. It was just fucking ridiculous, man. I don't care. They could have at least used a casket to put the man in and then took him back out until it was paid for. Whatever the fuck, whatever the fuck. If the people, he was a veteran, for Christ's sake. He did 2 tours in Vietnam. Just ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. They could have donated the fucking casket, right? It's a funeral home. They make buku fucking money. They sell $200 boxes for several $1,000s.
Yep.
60s and the 70s when the water was bad, George.
Yeah, it's just.
And I'll tell you what, when a vet should not have to pay for his own damn funeral, he doesn't give all he can give.
Right.
What the hell does this country expect? Maybe I better be quiet for a bit.
No, you're all right, man. You're all right. We can jump to a different story, though, if you're getting kind of fumed about it. Let's see. How many of you people in the room drink Red Bull or any kind of the energy drinks or stuff? I'm gonna take a little survey before I do this next story. How many of you people that are listening to me right now in the chat room drink a Red Bull or any kind of energy drinks?
A family member does too much.
Well, maybe you need to pass this story along to them when you see them next. So I'm going to give it just a minute. I want to see how many do. It's like you don't drink them, do you, Vaughn?
No, I don't drink. All I drink is coffee and tea and orange juice.
Too much coffee
Yeah,
can be
me
bad for you,
too.
too. Yeah, too much coffee can be bad for you, too, though.
Yeah, but I got to have my first cup, and then I switch to tea. I got iced tea. That's what I enjoy when I'm outside in the heat.
Me
Richard-
too.
Richard Jenkins, you drink Red Bull and Monster? Oh, my God, man. You're going to hate this fucking story that I'm getting ready to read you, brother. No, never. Let's see. I once listened to Red Bull radio, but not organic coffee at the moment. Okay. No. George says he drinks it with Jaeger. Red Bull and Jaeger. Holy shit, George. All right, I'm going to read the story for you folks. Don't. God damn.
Really? Seriously?
This
Oh
is
my
so.
goodness.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully, it'll stop you people from drinking it if you listen to me hard enough. Developed in Austria, Red Bull's marketing slogan promises that it will give you wings. According to Red Bull, all the ingredients are synthetically produced by pharmaceutical companies, which guarantees the highest quality of ingredients. Listen to my voice again. I'm going to read that again so that you understand what you're drinking. Developed in Austria, blah, 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 blah. According to Red Bull, all of the ingredients are synthetically produced by pharmaceutical companies, which guarantees their highest quality.
Jesus.
So what's really in Red Bull that can give us wings? Each 250 milliliter can of Red Bull contains the following: 1,000 milligrams of taurine, 600 milligrams of glucuronolactone. What the fuck is that? 80 milligrams of caffeine, 18 milligrams of niacin, 6 milligrams of pantothenic acid, 2 milligrams of vitamin B6, vitamin B2, vitamin B12, inositol, whatever the hell that is, and non-medicinal ingredients: carbonated water, sucrose, glucose, 27 grams of sugar, citric acid, flavors, and caramel. Oy, oy, oy. Did you know that France and Denmark have prohibited the cocktail of death due to its vitamin components mixed with glucuronolactone, a highly dangerous chemical? That's in that shit, isn't it? Yeah, 600 milligrams of that shit. Glucuronolactone. I'm going to actually copy and paste that word into the chat room so you guys can see exactly how it's spelled and do your investigative duty.
Google that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, 600 milligrams. That's a lot.
600 milligrams. Hang on a second. I'm going to drop it in here really quick. Paste. There is the name of that substance. Now, to continue. Let's see. I'm going to read that again. Did you know that France and Denmark have just prohibited it as a cocktail of death due to its vitamin component mixed with glucuronolactone? I don't think that's how you pronounce it, but that's what I'm saying. As a highly dangerous chemical. Sucrose and glucose, simple sugars, one 16-ounce energy drink may contain 54 grams of sugar, the approximate equivalent of 14 teaspoons. They are metabolized quickly, and the body can produce a quick burst of energy, followed by a deep energy deficit. A high intake of sugar raises blood fat levels and leaches essential minerals such as copper, chromium, and zinc from your body, leading to deficiency diseases, immune system impairment, and even insulin resistance. Taurine, an amino acid, according to some studies on rats and guinea pigs, a high intake is associated with liver dysfunction, and it can also enhance the toxicity of industrial pollutants such as carbon tetrachloride. Vitamin B6 intakes in excess of 1 gram per day of vitamin B6 can result in nerve damage known as peripheral sensory neuropathy, caused by damage to the outer wrapping of nerves and degeneration of nerves. The daily requirement for this vitamin is about 1.2 to 2 milligrams a day. Red Bull supplies 250% of that.
Damn.
Red Bull contains synthetic flavorings which are essentially the same as chemicals and perfumes and can thus be considered to be neurotoxins, allergens, and potential carcinogens.
Jesus.
Caramel. This type of caramel produced by ammonia process is a common food coloring. It has been associated with blood toxicity in rats. It has been linked to damaged genes, slow growth, and can cause enlargement of the intestines and kidneys, destroys vitamin B, and cause hyperactivity. But they still.
And it makes your organ, Jimmy, I think it makes your organs old faster too because they work so much faster. It's not meant to be funny. I'm serious.
Trying to digest it and get it out of your fucking body. Additionally, here's the last thing I think. Additionally, Red Bull has a pH of 3.3, the same as vinegar. Combined with sugar, they are perfect for eroding the enamel on your teeth and causing a lifetime of dental problems. In conclusion, Red Bull does not do anything to nourish the body or replenish it after physical exertion. In fact, because of the drink's high caffeine content, it can be very dehydrating and dangerous to your health. So, I don't know. You're going to do what you want to do, right? You're all adults and you're able to cognitively make your own decisions or whatever. But I'm just telling you, please stop drinking that shit. Please, please, please. The first time I saw a commercial for that crap, I was like, what in the fuck is that? I've never had a can, ever. I've never drank any of those Monster drinks or any of the fucking energy drinks or nothing. Nope. The only thing
I
I'll
had
buy.
to drink.
Go ahead.
Jimmy, you know those little bottles, the little tiny bottles that are red, like red and blue, and they're just like about that
The 1
big.
hour energy.
Huh?
The 1 hour energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to drink one of those once when I was coming back from my sister's house, and I was just so sleepy, and I kind of really needed to do something because I was falling asleep at the wheel. And so I called my sister, and she said, well, you've got to stop and get something, or you've just got to pull over. And that was not an option. So I did stop and get that. It tasted like it was horrible. And I had to make myself drink it in little tiny sips. And it woke me right up, and I got all the way home. But it was difficult to drink that one time.
I thought that shit was some additive you put in your gas tank when I seen it on the counter.
Yeah.
It tasted horrible.
Yeah, I got a friend, man. My brother Tracy. He's oh, come on, man. Come on. God damn it. All right.
That's funny.
No, not really. I'm trying to do a fucking show.
I didn't do anything.
You plugged your phone in.
Oh.
Everybody say hi to Al for fucking up the show.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Al.
Hi, Al.
Hi.
All right, back to the program. Sorry for the interruption. So please, people, last thing on that, don't drink that shit, man. Don't put that shit in your body. Please don't. Okay. That's a whole lot of negativity coming out of one little can of fucking drink.
It is. It's really my daughter got she was not well. Over time, she started having acid reflux, really very serious. And I told her, I said, I think it has to do with that drink, Kelsey. That kind of caffeine is not good for your system. I think it makes your organs old faster. That's all I knew about it. I never really actually studied it the way you did on that just now.
Yeah.
But I knew it was very bad for you. And so, I mean, she hasn't drank it for almost a year now, but she had really bad acid reflux. I think that would have something to do with it.
You have to be 18 in Indiana to buy it.
Yeah. We want to make sure you're an adult when we kill you, so we can't be sued.
They want you to be 18, Vaughn, because you have to be old enough to pick your poison.
Yeah, they can't be sued. He's an adult. He made his own decision.
Yeah.
We didn't force it on him. It's not like the toy ads on TV. Sorry. So I got up on the screen now a tweet from Kim.com, and this is in reference to Seth Rich. It said, "Why have murderers of Seth Rich not been identified? The crime area was littered with cameras, several cam locations identified by PI. And those are the streets that are all have cameras pointing in the direction of where Seth Rich was murdered. So there's obviously footage of what happened to the young man. The DC police will no longer address any FOIA requests for information on Seth's murder. No matter if you're a big-time reporter, a little-time reporter, family member, they just said, fuck it. Excuse me.
There was a investigator that gave his services free, and the family must have been really scared because I don't know when this time period was that I was seeing this video, what time period. I think it was a few years ago or whatever, but he was saying that they didn't want the investigator.
Yeah.
So,
Somebody, people,
It was
people
like
are
they
being-
must have been very scared. You would jump at that if somebody offered their services free like that for your son.
Well,
So they
that-
must have been very scared.
Rod Wheeler, the guy that used to work at Fox, that was a DC insider, he used to be a homicide detective, blah, 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 blah. He's got some inside dope there, man, right? He knows people, whatever. And they won't even talk to him about it. They said that they were told by the federal government to shut the fuck up and let it go.
That
Like
is
the
so
guy,
not
the
okay.
guy that leaked, the guy that leaked to Rod Wheeler anyway. And I don't see Rod Wheeler coming on. I mean, he's got a reputation to uphold, right? I don't see him coming on there and just blatantly lying about that. But anyway, he was working for the family, and after he went live with that on TV, I think the family got salty. So I'm thinking that somebody's being paid off or what. You know what I mean? They hired the private investigator to try to maintain their, appearance or whatever. But I think they got paid off. I think the federal government said, "Hey, man, we're sorry," or not the federal government, but at least Hillary's bunch. Called him up on the phone, said, "Dude, we had to cap your kid, man. He was leaking shit. So sorry. Here's $10 million. Shut up."
Yeah, it's like, we're going to pay you off and you're going to keep your mouth shut because we're going to come kill you otherwise.
That's my, that's just my opinion, right? This whole thing, this radio show is my opinion. So that's, I'm not saying
I
that I
agree,
know
though.
anything or whatever.
I
but
agree
yeah,
completely.
yeah. Anyway, we'll see what they
I
have
mean,
to say in the room.
To keep them, it would have brought a lot more attention to themselves, the bad guys,
Right.
if they had to kill the whole family. Stop.
Right.
If they'd had to kill the whole family, it would have brought a lot more attention to whatever they were.
Oh, they
Whatever
could have
they
made it
are.
simple, though. They could have made like a gas explosion at the house or, whatever.
True.
But I'm just saying. The
Suicide
kid,
or killed
the
by
kid wound
accident.
up with some bullets in his head, and they tried to play it off like a fucking robbery, but nobody stole anything. So it was like a
Right.
drive, it was like a walk by. Somebody walked up behind him, went in the back of his head, and down he went. And then they walked off.
Yeah.
And it's on video.
on video?
Probably at least 10 different. Well, it's got to be. You saw that list of, you saw that list. Well, I don't know. You're not watching the show, but
Oh, yeah. I'm not.
there was a list. Kim.com has a huge list. And now there's other people that have posted the area and where the cameras are located on buildings and what they're, which way they're facing. And there's at least 10
Yeah.
cameras that are covering that area.
Yeah, it's got to be on video and somebody's seen it. It's just like that movie from 1998 with Will Smith where that one person witnessed a crime where a senator or someone killed someone else and it got caught on this video and then the guy had to run and hide. He got killed and then Will Smith ended up with it. It was like that show.
Right.
They were talking about all the computers and how they'd take over your lives. That was in 98. That movie.
Everybody's still talking about the Red Bull story in this room. I guess that kind of got people's attention. reading through that list of toxic shit actually made people go, "Holy crap! I can't believe I drank one of those."
Those
Except for
commercials
George.
show like the
Except for
healthiest
George.
people
George
too.
George said, I guess I'll just die earlier. So I guess he's going to continue on with his cocktails.
You know
Can't do it
how
over
the
Austria.
commercials always show the most healthy people, the most beautiful people drinking those Red Bulls? It's just like everything else they sell that's not good for you. They get the kids young.
Right. So let's talk about this Times Square shit. The cat running over all the people with his car.
Well, let's look at the evidence that's been placed out here on the internet.
ahead.
Not to jump on here, Jim, but there's an affiliate associated company there that trains stunt people right there in New York, and they show you every technique they used. And if you look very closely, and the special effects, was it staged? Hell, I don't know, but I'm telling you, the evidence is pointing that way. So that's my opinion.
But what about you, Kim?
Well, when did that happen? Because I was not aware of this.
Yesterday. I think it was
Yesterday I was actually a little indisposed. I was catching up with an old friend, so I didn't really watch the news, or I don't really watch the news anyway. I just really watch the internet.
Was it
those
yesterday or the
stories.
day before, Vaughn? I can't even remember now. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, I was a little indisposed yesterday.
This was the 18th, so that was the day before. That was the day before. They called it a mass casualty incident, right? They arrested this cat. There's people on TV now, or on TV. It is my TV. YouTube is my TV. There's people on YouTube now that are picking this apart. I don't know if any of you guys listen to Russian vids or watch Russian vids or subscribe
Yes.
to him on YouTube. Okay, he has literally picked this fucking shit apart. He has taken some of the footage that they've released of the scene when it happened, and just he showed you where the photographer was and how he was tracking the kid across the fucking and where this plainclothes cop came from and blah. They're all right there. It all happens it's almost like in slow motion. Once you see him lay it out and you see him highlight there, here's where the cameraman was and here's the picture that he took, and it's right there. Professional fucking photographer, got his backpack on him, just happens to be standing on that street corner. There just happens to be a fucking fire engine on that street corner when all this went down. There's a cop staged behind the fire engine. It was a fucking staged incident, people. It was a staged incident. I promise you. Anyway.
Remember, they have to have chaos. They have to have chaos.
Yeah. Otherwise, people won't clamor for their for help.
Come here,
you know?
Sammy.
They won't be, oh, God, you guys got to come in here. The federal government's got to come in here and take care of us because there's crazy people. They're making us crazy. You just saw the shit that was in that fucking Red Bull can. What do you think's in your pharmaceuticals that you take?
Yeah. Believe
Let me
me.
throw you one at you. I'm sorry, Kim, but let me throw one at you out here, friends, so you really get a whole drift of what's going on. Venezuela. If you've heard anything about Venezuela lately,
that
America
place is on
is really
fire.
pissed off at Venezuela. Well, let me tell you why. Because they denied GMO food. Well, guess what? Russia denied GMO food, and they're supplying Venezuela with all their damn food.
Yep.
Does that not tell you where we're living in and what time we're living in and how much we should trust these people?
Oh, yeah.
I don't
That's
trust
all old news, too, man. I mean, they've been doing that for years and years. They've been rejecting the shit at the docks for years. That's why they went into Ukraine. Monsanto's got a huge fucking stake in Ukraine. They're letting them grow that shit over there. And that's right on Russia's border. Farm against farm. The only thing that separates them is a fence. They don't want that fucking shit blowing over onto their crops and contaminating their crops with all that GMO shit. That's why they're pissed off at them, because they're making a big stink about it. That's that's a huge part of what's going on in Ukraine. So, let's see. What else can we talk about? Russian Vids is a skeptical dude, but truthful, I think. Yeah, I mean, some people just don't like the way he breaks shit down, and he completely, bare bones it. Some people just can't take that kind of in your face. But if anybody wants to know the truth about this crap in New York, if you go check out his videos, I'm pretty sure that you'll go, yeah, it was staged. It was staged.
I worked Wednesday and Thursday, so I didn't catch anything about it. So apparently somebody got in a vehicle and ran down a bunch of people like over in France.
No,
Or
Times
Germany.
Square, New York.
They did it in New York.
Times
well,
Square.
yeah, I'm saying they did it like they did it over there.
Yeah, only this cat only killed one person, supposedly. Put what, 30 others in the hospital or something, 15, 12 others? I don't know, something like that. I don't believe it now, so I don't pay any attention to it. Fuck it. This is real, though. This story right here is real. I don't know if you guys heard about this or not, and if you haven't heard about this, this is a pretty big deal. Puerto Rico starts the biggest ever U.S. bankruptcy process. The U.S. territory of Puerto Rico has begun a historic bankruptcy proceedings. On Wednesday, a U.S. federal judge will start to sort out the Caribbean Commonwealth's $123 billion debt in a San Juan court.
I heard about that on Tuesday. How'd they get to that point? I thought we paid all their stuff with our taxes,
I don't
right?
know. We pay all of Israel's stuff with our taxes, so I don't know how it happened. I don't know. Maybe
Puerto
Israel gets too
Rico
much.
too. They're not. I don't think they're allowed to vote, but we pay all their stuff so that we can keep it like an air base or something there.
Yeah, it's a commonwealth. I mean, that's why the United Empire of Earth, right? It's going to fall on your tax-paying dollars, though. The issue could take years to resolve, as investors scramble to recover as much as they can on their bonds. That means they're going to start, paring off the island, right? Some parts of it will become private, and you can't go there anymore because we got owed all this money. Anyway, Puerto Rico's debt is still...
Actually, you're right.
Puerto Rico's debt is still trading at an elevated levels against what the island's authorities have put aside for payments under its financial recovery strategy. Investors are raising concerns about whether they will be able to recoup all their prices. The Commonwealth is seeking to restructure over $70 billion in debt from multiple agencies, with another $45 billion in underfunded pension liabilities. That's more than, well, never mind. However, analysts throw into question the chance of getting that level of recovery. The 25% may be what the Commonwealth identified as available to cover debt services, but it doesn't necessarily mean that will be the ultimate recovery, said Sean Burgess, portfolio manager and lead trader for Puerto Rican strategies at Sarasota, Florida-based Cumberland Advisors. Your advice is shit. Puerto Rico is home to 3.5 million U.S. citizens and has been in a recession for the past 10 years, with a debt piling up to pay for essential services. This is like Venezuela and Italy and France, and it's happening everywhere, people. You know, this is bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. So when it comes to your doorstep in the next couple of weeks or months, you'll know why. According to recent data, unemployment on the island is about 11%, while the poverty rate stands at 45%. Almost half the people are in poverty. Negotiations on the most divisive debt restructuring in U.S. public finance history may include the lowering of coupon rates, reducing the principal, and extending maturity dates, according to Burgess. They just make it sound so easy. There isn't enough information, especially as it relates to time frame and potential recoveries, he said. Searching for a legal way to cut its debt, Puerto Rico earlier this month started a modified version of bankruptcy protection allowed by federal rescue law known as PROMESA. The law includes a provision subtitled 3, which lets Puerto Rico settle its obligations through a bankruptcy-like procedure. Here's a quote from Barclays. Clearly, we don't know what to expect, but it is going to be a lengthy and tortuous process. I would assume that the final solution would also address the pensions, because if you are a bondholder, why would you take a haircut knowing the pension liability question could not send you back to square one again? So, yeah. Anyhow, this is going to be epic, people. If they bail this country out, it is going to be a huge precedent. And how the fuck are we going to bail them out? Aren't we $20 trillion in debt? How the fuck are we going to bail them out?
We're not.
What?
They're going to pull that switch on the whole world at the same time. Nobody's going to be able to help anybody.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on, man. Who's going to loan the money? You know, they just go, we'll print it, fuck it.
Unbelievable.
Let's see what they're saying.
Bastard.
Anybody got any comments about that? Vaughn's making comments in the room instead of on the mic.
No, that's all right. I'm just kind of paying attention to both.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening.
Okay. So your thoughts, Vaughn? Are you going to write him a check? Are you going to help out?
Well,
Send a check to Puerto
you
Rico?
know, I think I've got an old Monopoly game in there, and what I'll do is I'll take the big bills and I'll put them in an envelope and address them to the Parliament or the government of the Puerto Rico and see how far they can get with that money.
Good idea, Vaughn.
I mean, that's about all we're doing anyway. That's why, you know, people might laugh and, you know, they've been saying they're going to do that, they're going to do that, they're going to do that. You realize, if you Google it, the currency's already been printed. It's already waiting. They're just waiting for these guys to make their move. And
Right.
this G7 meeting may be it.
It
You
might be.
may wake up tomorrow, and guess what? We got new money. And you're not going to
it's
get
not
the
going to happen
value
tomorrow,
of
dude.
this
It's
money
not
for
going to happen
the
tomorrow.
money.
No. It's Ordo ab Chaos. You know what it is, man. It's order out of chaos. They have to have chaos first. It has to be worldwide. If they're going to try to bring in a world currency, which is what they're going to try to do, then it's got to be a worldwide event. They're going to have to crash the markets on Wall Street and let that fucking tidal wave run across the plane that we're living on and wipe everybody's shit out, because that will affect everybody.
Well, most of the time when they do these little strange acts are during a war. So they're going to propagate a hell of a war going on. and then they're going to make the move on the currency, and then they're going to have total. Because you got to have this peace. All right, they're going to bring in this peace.
We're already at
Okay,
war
but-
in 3 different fucking countries, man. What else do we
Right.
need? What else do we need? What else do we need?
Well, apparently we
this
ain't
is-
killing
this
enough
is
fast
where-
enough. I don't know.
This is what has to collapse. The United States is what has to collapse because that is the linchpin, if you will. This is where Wall Street is. We are the robber barons of the planet.
Well,
So once
what
this
would
once
direct
this
the
currency collapses, it is going to be worldwide.
Well, what would direct you to more of a chaos and disobedience than to declare Sharia law in this country? I don't know what the
They're not gonna
population
do
is
that
right
shit,
now.
dude. They're not going to do that shit. It's going to
Yeah,
do
but-
incremental stuff here and there and whatever, but it's not. It's not going to come down to one little thing like that, dude. It's just not. It's not. Once they drop the currency, then chaos comes because that everything stops, man. All the fuel stops, all the groceries stop, everything stops.
Yeah,
Well,
the
then,
trucks stop.
Go ahead, Kim. What I was going to say was they did the same thing in that one country. Now, forgive me because it slips the country of mind where it was, but they took all the big money and they closed down and didn't have money to replace it. So that would cause a currency drop. In other words, our freaking money wouldn't be worth nothing. We couldn't buy, sell, or trade nothing.
Hang on a second. Let me back up here. Hey, you want to talk about Sharia law? Let me back up here a second. I think I got one that I tweeted out.
They're doing some down in San Diego right now.
Yeah, I think I tweeted out earlier. It's been
They're
I
trying
think it's
to
been a
push
couple
the-
days back.
It's like they're trying to get a special thing specifically for Muslims concerning bullying. So
Well,
it's
they've
like a
already
special
got
thing
some-
just for them.
No, this is a parent that actually sued a school because they taught Sharia to the kids. Let me back up here and see if I can find it. It might have been a couple days back. I tweeted out a lot of
Yeah, but
shit.
Trump-
I'm still looking.
Trump made it real clear that religion has a right to how they believe and how they say. So Sharia law is part of their Islamic religion.
Islam
So they're-
is not a
they've got-
religion. Islam is not a religion.
Well, that's what they claim.
It's
it
an
is.
ideology. Well, but it's
He
not
has-
though.
But he hasn't denied them. If he has, why are they still have? Why are they building mosques?
I understand what you're thinking, what you're saying, but I'm just saying it's not. You know, it's not. It's never been a religion. It's not a religion. It's a theology. It's
Yeah,
a-
I understand what you're saying, but what they're saying is, like just like Merkel, just like Sweden, just like the rest of Europe now, and England, hell, even the royalty in England have gone to Islam and believe in Sharia law. So why wouldn't you think for one moment they're not going to try and shove it down America's throat? And that would be the easy
Because
way
there's
to
not
bring
enough
us up into
Muslims
the
here.
civil uprising.
There's not enough Muslims in this country to get it to fly. There's just not. I can't find that story. Twitter might have taken it off of here too, though. But there's just not enough Muslims in the United States to even try to get that to pass, man. Just it won't happen. They won't switch out the laws. How are they going to switch to Sharia law when they already got 50,000 different laws on the fucking books anyway, man? You know,
Hello.
I just don't. They might
Mark,
legalize it. They might legalize it, and they might have a Sharia court alongside the American courts or whatever. But they'll never just implement Sharia law in the United States. It won't happen.
Well, tomorrow I'll get in the backyard and I'll yell out, everybody that's Islamic, would you please raise your hand? I've got to make a head count because I got to figure how much population I have in Muncie compared to the whole world and do or America and do an analysis of this because they only got to have 10 to 20%. And how many millions of these assholes are here?
Yeah. There's a lot of them, but there ain't that many of them. You know what I mean? There's a lot, but there ain't that many. There's 300 million people in this country, brother. I bet there ain't 50 million Muslims.
Well, but how long does it take a bunch of Mexicans turn to Islamic and black to turn to Islamic? I mean, we are the minority.
You'll
okay?
never see Mexicans go Islamic, dude. They are Catholic, Catholic, Catholic. You'll never see.
They ain't giving
I
up
would
Mary,
laugh
are
my
they?
ass off if I saw a Muslim Mexican. I would laugh
They ain't
my
giving
ass
up
off.
Mary.
They are Catholic, brother, which is still a fucking psychotic, religion, whatever. More people have been killed by the Catholic Church than any other religion out there. So, whatever. It's just, they're Satan worshipers. You know how I feel about religion. Is that full yet? God damn.
But the way Bond's talking, that is how they roll. They roll and they keep coming, and then they get enough people to get some people in the government, and then bam.
How many Muslims are in? How many Muslims you see in Trump's cabinet? How many Muslims you see in Trump's cabinet? 0.
Oh well, what about all those? What about the Islamic extremists that were placed in some of those other positions, high-level positions? That I mean, unless he fired them, they should still be there. They're all over the place up in the government. Maybe not in his cabinet, though.
You think Sharia law would fly in Mississippi? I don't think so.
Oh, hell no.
You think it'd fly in Texas? Nope.
It's not going to fly anywhere, but the thing is, I mean, it's the Dark Ages. If you look up those laws, those are nasty.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. And, it's just...
It's against the Constitution.
It's going to be, but like I said earlier, it's not going to be one simple thing, though. You know what I mean? Unless it's the collapse of the dollar. If the dollar collapses or if Wall Street tanks, then it's Katie bar the door. But other than that, it's going to be, and I've said this before probably 100 times, it's death by 1,000 cuts. And we're about 990 in. You know what I mean? That's exactly what's happening. It's death by 1,000 cuts to the U.S. And we're already 90% of the way.
Think about this. So if I was listening to an X22 report at the end of the day,
right.
The person that was talking, I never got the guy's name because when you turn on that video with the X22 report, it must have been cut off, so I had no idea who he was talking to. But when it happens, think about all those
Pew
paramilitary.
Research. Yeah.
Huh?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Those no, that's okay. Paramilitary camps all over, like dotted all the way down the south, all the way down the south coast, all the way to the east coast, up around the west coast. You know, if you have what he was talking about, and he was, he wasn't trying to. He was just telling people, like you are, and that happens where you've got that kind of chaos where this system breaks down. It is going to be scary, scary, scary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But there's Spring just put it in the room. Pew Research says that there's only 3.3 million Muslims in the U.S. 3.3 million. That's nothing. That's not even 10%. That's 1%.
Yeah, but if you didn't have if you had pure chaos and then you had them jumping in there all over the place, you have no semblance of anything. Everything's total chaos, breakdown in society.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but these are probably Muslims that are legally here. I'm talking about all the illegals that have come through. But let's change the pace of this a little bit.
Okay. I don't want to run. I'm not a runner.
Why in the world would people think just because everything goes bad they can't survive? I've had this discussion before.
Okay, I got. Whoa. Are we going to do these one at a time? Because I got a bunch to tell you. Are we going to do one at a time? Here's number one. 60+% of the people in the United States are on some kind of pharmaceutical. Okay, they are dependent on some kind of pharmaceutical to get through their daily life. When those people stop getting their drugs, they are going to go batshit crazy and start killing one another to try to find them. So there's one. Go ahead.
That's where the push for the zombie movies and everything came from.
Well, no, we're already surrounded by the stupid apocalypse, man. The zombie apocalypse is just going to be butter on the bread.
But I'm trying to look at this on a positive note here. I'm trying to get some positive energy to life.
I'm just telling you, because look, 60%.
Some ground up and watch your damn garden grow.
But 60% means that 6 out of 10 people that are watching this show right now are taking some kind of pharmaceutical. Okay, everybody that's listening and typing in chat, let me know if you're taking some kind of pharmaceutical right now. And while you're doing that, go down there and hit the like button. Thanks.
I'm smoking a cigarette, drinking orange juice. Does that put me in that?
No, I'm just saying, come on. I want to know, seriously, if the people that are listening to me right now, I want to know if that statistic is even close to being true. Because you guys are a pretty good general gathering of Joey Bag of Donuts across the United States. And, if you're in a foreign country, even better. But just let me know in chat, type a 1 if you're taking some kind of pharmaceutical. Just type a 1 and be done with it. David says, not me, David Howard.
Not me. Not me, I'll type it in.
Agent 1212 said he's not either. QE says he's not either. Dawn's not. Marines, nah. Way to go, Vaughn. Invest in lead and brass, Ricky says. Sornprar, nope. George says he's already batshit crazy. Well, welcome to the club, brother. Welcome to the club, man. If being normal's the normal, I don't want to be normal. Fuck them.
What is normal?
Ruby Dawn says none here. Totally natural remedies here for Jeannie. I knew that, Jeannie. Nope for dope. L4 says.
Well,
those
are indulgent pot. That's a natural form. That's not pharmaceutical, friends.
That's out of 25 people.
That's natural form.
Out of 25 people, that's most of, that's the majority, I think, out of 25 people. I don't know. That's probably 10 or 15 of them right there. So the statistic is not absolutely accurate, but it is a statistic, right? And people that take pills for this and pills for that and pills for this and pills for that and pills for this. So, it's true. It's half true, right? There's going to be a lot of them out there. There's going to be a lot of them out there. And they're going to
And that's just the ones with like prescription drugs. What about all the ones with like those other kinds of drug habits that are really, really serious where it makes people go crazy?
Yeah. What's going to happen when you can't get your crack? Because nobody can run down to the Walgreens and get all the pharmaceuticals they need to make the crack. What's going to happen when the heroin stops? What's going to happen when the LSD stops? What's going to happen when all the, those...
Well, dang, when the government shuts down, that means all the drug running's going to stop. So there's going to be a lot of hurting people here in America that they were introduced to it back in the, 60s and 70s.
Yep. The pilots will stop flying into Mina. What?
They'll be hospitalized.
Yeah, they'll be hospitalized, she says. The hospitals won't be able to afford.
The ERs will have to take them.
Yeah, but there won't be enough beds. There just won't.
Yeah, I brought up that question today. I brought up the same question about the hospitals. This guy on X22, he was saying, it's just going to totally be shut down. Even if you're one of the few that are lucky enough to still be able to maintain and keep your job, they're not going to have anywhere to send your paycheck.
Right.
The
banks aren't going to be around. How are they going to move currency when the fucking fuel stops?
I don't know.
There
I know
won't be
Timmy's
the
not going
banks
to be
won't
doing 256 hours a month if I'm not going to get paid. I'll just stay home and stay away from the fray in my little tiny home.
Get out of the cities. Get out of the city. The first day that you wake up and you can't access your money at your bank, they call a bank holiday. The first day that happens, get your ass in a car and get the fuck out of the city that you're living in, if you're living in a city. I promise you. The day that you wake up and you hear on the news that there's been a bank holiday called, it'll probably be a Monday morning because they're going to do it over a weekend. Get your ass out of the city.
Yep. Pack some sandwiches, grab the gun, and go have a picnic in the country.
That's right.
They said the first 3 days of that, the first 3 days to the first week will be when people are just starting to really get it. People will be in denial up until the point where they are starting to truly run out of food.
When they go to the ATM, when they go to the ATM more than twice and it spits the card back out and says sorry, no access or whatever, and they're like, man, I got $20 in my wallet. What am I going to do?
Yeah, and what about those mothers that feed their babies that formula that costs like $29 or $33 now for a can?
Ruby Dawn says her mother takes 37 pills a day plus triple insulin. She called her the Walking Dead.
Dear God.
Whew. Man, I couldn't even imagine that bill, boy. I couldn't even imagine that monthly bill for your medications. Wow, 37. Stock up on cigarettes and high-quality booze, George said. Yeah, that should have bartered really good.
Really good bartering tools,
yeah, buddy.
Seriously.
Toilet paper, coffee. That's two other good, really, really good barter items because people are going to want to wipe their ass, man, and everybody's addicted to coffee.
Well, that's what happened in Venezuela. The first thing they lost in Venezuela was the toilet paper. That was the first thing.
First thing that went out.
I remember.
Toilet paper, paper supplies, period. Toilet paper, napkins,
yeah, that was the
paper
first
towels.
thing they lost.
Yep.
Baking soda and toothbrush. Make sure you got plenty of toothbrushes and baking soda.
Yep.
Got to keep.
Yeah, but what would you wipe yourself with, you guys? I mean, if you couldn't get toilet paper.
I'll wipe my ass with my hand when the time comes. I'll wipe my ass with my hand and wash my hands later. Wash my hands.
Yeah,
when I'm
then
done.
you could have to wash your hands. I guess you could do that. I guess.
Yep.
I guess you don't have a choice. When you're living primitive, you have to figure out what you're going to do because whatever you do is going to determine.
Or stock up on some latex gloves, man. Stock up on some rubber gloves and use rubber glove and then wash the glove. You know, there's all kinds of ways around that. You know, they got those big
Absolutely,
dish
you're
doing
right.
gloves that come all the way up to your fucking elbow, man. So if you want to give somebody an ass reaming, you can do it.
You could do that.
I mean,
But
there's
if
all
you're
kinds
going
of
to
ways
eat
around that.
only once or twice a week, you ain't going to be worrying too much about how much you're going to be shitting.
$9,000 a month, Ruby says. $9,000 a month just in pills. Holy
goodness.
shit!
Wow.
Holy shit!
I don't know how they do that.
Jeannie says you can brush your teeth with diatomaceous earth.
Yeah, you can.
Yep, it's good for you. Actually, you're supposed to sprinkle it on your salads and stuff when you eat salads.
Well, let's-
Yeah,
make sure
it keeps your insides going good. You know, keeps all the bad bacteria down. So does drinking silver water and
That's
know,
good.
raw coconut oil. Raw coconut oil. You know, a tablespoon of that a day will change your life.
Yeah, just make sure you grab a bottle of silver water and put that in your scatter bag, so you at least have that, because that'll keep infection down and everything else.
Yep,
Where do you buy something like silver water?
I make my own.
I've heard so
got
many good things
I've
about
got a
it from you all.
silverlungs.com. All one word. Silverlungs, all one word.com. And you can buy the
Okay.
generator that I have. It's about
Yeah, I've heard
400
a lot of good things about it.
about $400. It's how I healed up after I wrecked my motorcycle. When I laid my motorcycle down last year, you guys all saw that. Or 2 years ago now. I guess it's been a little over 2 years. I'm showing the scars on.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. That's all I used on it. Silver water, coconut oil, and bandages.
So this
Yeah,
is
so
going
they-
to sound ridiculous, but does it really have silver in it?
Yeah. I got
Yes.
2 silver rods go down into the water, into the it's got to be distilled water. It can't have a bunch of crap in it, otherwise it's going to taint it. So, it's got to be clean distilled water. 2 silver rods go down in there and you hook the electrodes to it and turn it on. About 2 hours later it's done.
Interesting.
It's good for you, man. And then you can go through the second step and do the colloidalizing, but I don't do that. I just drink the ionic version of it. That's what it's called, is ionic water. Ionic silver water. Boom. Charlie coming on?
I seen Charlie in there. There, Charlie. He's tapping.
Is he?
Yeah, I buy Kim. I buy my.
Oh, right on.
I bought a bunch of silver, Kaleido silver from Walgreens. They had it on the.
Man, is it fucking
market
expensive, boy. Ionic silver, well, colloidal I don't know about, but ionic silver water, they sell at a bunch of the nature stores and stuff. Nature's Way and GNC sells it, and a couple other places, Truck Patch sells it, and it's $75 a liter. $75 a liter was the last time the price I checked. It's been a while back,
Well-
but damn, I'll sell it for half that, people. If you guys want it, send me an email. I'll sell it to you for half of that.
Well, Vaughn, I appreciate that tip. Thank you for the Walgreens tip too. So do you
I'll
drink
tell you
like
what
regu-
it is. Let me go look. Let me go get the bottle, and I'll tell you the name of it, hon. You can ask
Okay,
me.
thank you.
What's up, Charlie? Welcome to the
Jimmy.
show, brother. Long time
Hey,
no
Charlie.
talk to you, man.
I would have to ask one little question.
What?
On the silver water, do you drink it like a bottle of water, or do you drink like a teaspoon of it a day?
I take a shot a day.
A shot a day.
Yep. I haven't been sick in 3.5 years. I got sick when I first
Probably
moved
why
down.
your arm healed up.
Oh yeah, that's all. They tried to shoot me up with all kinds of shit. They tried to give me medications, and everybody after I got back home, everybody's like, "Man, you should have took it because you could have kept it for later for barter or whatever." I should have took it, but it was going to cost me because I was paid for it out of pocket, and it was
Right.
already the emergency room bill and the fucking sutures and shit. And they did give me a tetanus. I let them give me a tetanus because I hadn't had one in 20 plus years. So I did, and there was a bunch of crap. He pulled a bunch of rocks and shit out of my arm. So I was like, "Yeah, go ahead and give me a tetanus." But yeah.
Here's the name of it. You can go to www.soyvereigen silver.com. And what this is this one here is 10 ppm, 4 fluid ounces. And I believe I paid, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was $8 or $6, something like that, for the bottle that size.
That's great.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I make 15
Affordable.
parts per million. when I make it. I make 15 parts per million, which is the hottest that thing will do, that silver lungs thing. It'll make 10 or 15. Or I think it's 7.5 or 15. Seven
But
and a
I
half
take-
parts per million or 15 parts per million. So
I take it's got an eyedropper, and I take either 4 of them in the morning or 2 in the morning and 2 at night.
you can't.
Eyedroppers, half eyedroppers, yeah. So that's like he said, almost a shot. A half of a shot or whatever. But if you do that, you'll find that you'll feel better. I mean, literally, you feel better.
Good. Well, I'm
told
gonna
you
definitely
it's
get
coming on the radio.
some,
Your
just
paws are
because
wet.
any little thing that can help you keep your system healthy is definitely a plus in my
What?
book. Hi there.
This is Dixie.
Well, let me
Dog.
tell you this story, and
Dixie.
I'm gonna tell you
I'm
this,
Dixie
and
Dog.
with the fact that I had a cat named Missy. She's passed now. I've had her for a long time. She was my heart. She was in a lot of videos with me and everything, and she got a tumor on her chest, on one of her little nipples, and it came up, and I started putting Kaleido Silver on it. Well, I took her to the doctor, and I told the doctor what I was doing. So he tied it off, and he said, what you do is keep putting Kaleido Silver on, give her a little bit, and little by little, it'll fall off. Well, it did. He said,
Dixie Dog.
because of her age, because at the time I think she was 12 years old, because of her age, he couldn't surgically do anything for her, but she had cancer. Okay, he says, as long as nothing comes back and we could cure this, we'll be all right. So I've got a video, I don't know if I still got it up because it broke my heart, where it removed, when it fell off, it left an opening, and you can see how it's healed up and sealed back up on my cat, little Missy. So anybody ask me, do I truly believe in silver? Hell yes, I do. And I guarantee you there's Band-Aids that's got silver, some kind of a silver solvent on it that you can actually put over wounds like Jim did on his arm and heal yourself up. This is one of the undisclosed things, but the vet said if you're using silver, there's no need
just
for
like-
us to try any other means.
It's just like cannabis oil, man. They've known about cannabis oil forever and ever and ever, and took it away from us. They used to make cough syrup and shit with it. They know how healthy it is for you. They know how good it is for you. That's why they stopped doing it. Lance said he just got home.
This thing
He's not
about
ready.
turning blue. Somebody said something about turning blue. That guy immediately was trying to clear up a complexion problem, and
Yeah.
he was overindulging his face.
It's still,
with
silver is non-toxic to the human body. I don't care
Yeah.
how fucking much you do. You'd have to drink a liter a day to turn blue for months and months and months and months. So yeah, but they said that he had the equivalent of like 3 fluid ounces in his bloodstream to turn him, or in his skin to turn him.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he was
The old
drinking a
days-
shit ton of it though. He was
In the
trying
old
to
days, they used to take a silver coin or some kind of a silver that they had.
put it down your milk and it keeps it longer.
and put it in water.
Well, no, they put it down in milk too. I remember my grandmother
Yes,
used to
and
drop
milk,
a silver coin down in the milk when she got to keep it fresh longer
Yes, sir.
because it's
So
antibacterial.
will not grow in it.
Hey,
Fuck.
we have a surgical dressing called Aquaphor, and it has like the inside part. It has a medicinal dressing within the actual pressure dressing that we put over the incision, and it has silver in it.
George, she's a
Just like you were talking
dappled
about.
dachshund. That's a dappled colored dachshund. Her name is Dixie. Dixie the dappled doxy.
She's a dappled
Yep,
dog.
dappled dachshund. I used to have a friend of mine who lived downstairs from me when I lived over outside of Indianapolis. I was in an apartment building over there, and the guy downstairs had a dappled pit. Man, it was a fucking gorgeous dog, boy. Love pit bulls, man.
That's friend down in Florida's got. He's a biker, and he's got a Doppel pit or whatever you just called that.
Yep, dapple.
Part pit bull, and part dachshund. He said Pepper is the baddest little dog in the world. She'd take on anything.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a dog named Pepper.
Jeannie said Silvadine is on Band-Aids now. They're using it more and more in hospitals and stuff. So, yeah, the people they know, the old shit's coming back around, y'all. Start growing your own vegetables and shit, taking care of yourself. Yeah, the nature is always the best remedy. Natural remedies are always the best. It'll make pharmaceuticals. They ran the holistic doctors out of the U.S. because Rockefeller was making a shit ton of money with his allopathic shit.
Actually, a lot of holistic doctors kind of ended up on a dead list too.
Yep. There's if you go to Health Nut News and read, she's got articles. Her name's Erin Elizabeth. She runs a website called Health Nut News. And she's printed articles over the last, 18 months of 90 different holistic doctors in the U.S. that have met a strange
That is
fate.
just unbelievable.
Yep.
It's unbelievable to me. I can barely believe it. Because that's even a bigger number than the last time I looked was maybe at the end of last year. So she has more on there.
Yes, George, ionic silver, you can put it in your eyes, you can put it in your ears, you can rinse your mouth with it, you can drink it, you can put it on your skin, you can use it as an enema if you feel like it. Silver is non-toxic to the human body, period.
I use it on my eyes, and I use it on my new little kittens. They got an eye infection or something, and I tried the stuff they give me. It irritated the baby's eyes, so I put some silver in it, cured it within 2 days.
Yep.
More eye problems.
Yep. It'll get rid of styes really quickly. Any kind of eye irritant, like if you get something shot up in your eye or whatever, it's better than Visine. It doesn't take the red out, but it'll make your eye feel better.
Yeah.
If you give a swimmer's ear or whatever, it'll cure swimmer's ear pretty quick. So.
You'll feel it immediately, and then after that, it'll feel good. Okay, you'll feel, because anything you put foreign in your eye is going to have a reaction immediately, and then all of a sudden it feels good.
Oh,
hey, Charlie.
Soren Prar just put this in the room out of the Houston AP. A black Texas congressman has said Saturday that he has been threatened with lynching by callers infuriated over him seeking the impeachment of President Frump. Yeah.
Whatever.
Silver wipes out MRSA, Dawn said. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. MRSA cannot stand to silver.
What sold me was the guy that took it and put it in a fish bowl that was completely gooked.
Mm-hmm.
And within a 24-hour period, it was clean.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that be cool.
Oh, yeah, that goes years back.
I wonder how healthy it is for fish.
Well,
I wonder if they could put it in, if they could start dumping ionic silver into the Pacific Ocean and help it clean up from some of the radiation and stuff. I don't know.
What a great idea! Wow,
at least help the fish. At least give the fish some chance of survival.
Yes. God, that's a great idea.
Yeah, silver's going to be way too valuable, man. It's going to be they won't let it go to that shit. Let's see what else I got on my Twitter feed that we can talk about. We only got like 15 minutes to close it down, so ought to be fun. Oh, here's a good one. This is out of Zero Hedge too. I love this site, man. Journalists drink too much and are dumber than the average people. A recent scientific study just proved something that the viewers of CNN have probably suspected for years. Journalists' brains function at a lower level than the rest of the population. We trust these people, and the country just laps up the shit that they spew, man. A study conducted by neuroscientist Tara Swift at the London Press Club determined that the highest functioning journalists' brains were operating at a lower level than the average population due to dehydration, self-medicating, and fueling their brains with caffeine and high-sugar foods. Let's see. What else I got over here? Journalists' brains show a lower level of executive function, that is, the ability of the brain to regulate emotions, suppress biases, switch between tasks, solve complex problems, and think flexibly and creatively, than the average person does because of their heavy drinking and caffeine consumption. They also eat too many high sugary foods and don't devote enough time to mindfulness. Dr. Swart recruited 31 journalists from across the industry to participate in the study. Participants were required to record their eating and drinking habits, answer a brain profile questionnaire, take blood tests, and wear heart rate variability monitors. The study was initially launched to examine how journalists manage to survive and thrive while managing such high levels of occupational stress. Journalism, quote unquote, the press release notes, is one of many industries under an increasing amount of pressure in the digital age. Low pay, frequent deadlines, and high levels of accountability all contribute to high reported stress levels. So your CNN is suffering from the dumb. Your Fox is suffering from the dumb.
Chanita 3 says, why not just swallow a silver coin? Well, what we're talking about when
That'd
we
be
say
really
10
hard to shit out, man.
right?
This
Yeah,
was like a
because
little
the simple
dime or
fact
something.
is you have to have the silver so fine that it'll fill the bloodstream and do what it needs to do. You can't do that with a coin, without having a cardiac arrest.
I'm sure you'll get some silver out of it, before you do shit it out the other end, because your stomach acids and stuff are going to dissolve on a little bit. The hydrochloric acid will make some of it come off, but like you said, it'll be when it's nanoparticulate, when it's in a suspension in a suspension of water, it is so easily uptaken by the body that it's almost, you don't see immediate results, but you'll see results in days. You know what I mean? When I started
'Cause it's
spraying it on
like-
my arm and wrapping my arm with it, I saw the healing results starting in days. Now look, people, this elbow was down to the bone. I put some pictures up on Facebook and stuff. I don't know if I showed it that graphically, but this elbow was down to the bone because I bounced off the mountain with this arm. My leg wasn't that bad, but this elbow was down. And when he started stitching me up, he was like, this is pretty serious, right? You're probably going to want some pain medicine. And I was like, I'm good. I'm good, brother. Sew me up. I'm sitting here letting you touch me, ain't I? If I'm not punching your teeth out, brother, I can hang with it. So
I can't believe you did that. I am shocked.
So
and
were they.
amazed.
6 weeks later, when I went to get my stitches out, the nurse that took my stitches out said, how did you do this? How did you heal up like this? And I said, silver water and coconut oil. And she was like, no. I was like, yeah.
Cool.
She looked back at the charts and she's like, you didn't take any medications or nothing? I was like, nope. I've been eating aspirin and taking care of myself.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. In 3 months, it was all flexible. I could flex it back out again without it weeping anything. All the, never showed any kind of pus or no infection, nothing.
How long ago was that?
A little over 2 years ago. You can go back on my Facebook.
you did
Well, you're not on
great.
Facebook. Yeah.
For an older guy.
Yeah, I'm pushing 50. Trying to keep it in front of me, but it won't stay.
So you healed like a teenager.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to say that, anybody can do it, though. I promise you, anybody. And it might be something about my physiology being a redhead, because we do have a different physiology than other people. But
You do.
yeah, I don't know. It's so far it's worked for everybody that I've ever given it to, and I've given it to a lot of my friends.
That's good to know.
Just giving them bottles. Here, come here, take this. Man, I'm feeling like shit today. My stomach hurts. Drink some of that. Take that home with you. Finish it off. Bring it back. I'll fill it back up. So,
Cool.
yeah, I'll never badmouth silver water ever. If you guys can afford to go get a Silver Lungs generator, get it. If you can cobble shit together, there's YouTube videos out there that tell you how to make them at home by yourself. With just shit you can buy at the hardware store or whatever. Just make sure you're using 0.9999, 49's fine, of silver, and you'll be good to go.
Cool. That's a cheap fix too. It's once you obtain those materials to do that.
I'm not
you're
Irish,
really
QE.
putting out more money.
I'm not Irish, brother. I'm over 6 foot tall. I'm not Irish. I'm a Scot. So
Yeah, him too big to be a leprechaun.
yeah,
You look like a Scot.
I'm thick. I got the big, thick upper body and the thick legs and stuff. Yeah, I'm not no little Irishman.
Yeah, you would be a good person to go in one of those movies where they have like the Scotsman, and you'd be perfect.
Spring said, "Funky versus the deer." Actually, it was Funky versus Push Mountain. The deer just scurried off down the hill like nothing happened. I was the one that was dealing with the mountain, and the mountain won on that one. It cost me more to fix my bike than it did to fix my arm. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah, I had one of those. I hit a deer at 60 mile an hour on my 79 Dresser FLH.
I didn't hit him. I tried to miss him, and that's why I caught a peg on the ground and put me off into the side of the mountain. The Push Mountain Road is like 12 feet wide Well, I was actually on 341, which is an even smaller road, but it's about 12 feet wide, 2 lanes, one going up, one coming down. And it's like off to this side, off to the left side going up the hill, off the left side is nothing but straight down to the fucking river, down to the creek down there and straight down. And then on this side, it's straight up. So I went into the rocks.
The hot side.
Yeah. I'm lucky I didn't crash about 200 feet farther down the road because there was a couple of trees sticking out of the side of the hill that fell down. I might have got impaled on one of them motherfuckers.
Oh my
So-
goodness! And then no one would have found you forever.
Yeah, I had to walk up the hill about 100 yards or so before I could get a phone signal to call Tracy to come get my ass off the highway.
Oh my God!
So-
You're lucky you didn't really get hurt, and your phone flopped away from your hand, and then you couldn't have called anybody.
Yeah, actually, it was down in my pocket. I'm surprised it made it through the crash.
Well, we're glad you made it through the crash.
Yeah, no shit. I am too. I guess I got stuff
Yeah,
to
now-
do.
We got you here to aggravate.
You don't aggravate me. The government aggravates me. You don't aggravate me at all.
I know, Jim. I'm on the same frame.
Shut up, Lance. Shut up on my text, Lance. He's egging me. He's throwing eggs at me. If you ain't gonna come on and spew it, shut up about it. All right, let's see. What else are we gonna do? We got 5 minutes left? 5 minutes left. Holy crap! Bitcoin went over $2,000, people. Unfucking believable. It went over $2,000, and I think
What-
it's still
what-
climbing.
What went over $2,000?
Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin.
Yeah. You guys realize that back in 2011 it was $3.
Yep.
It is $2,049.64 right now. $2,049.64 a Bitcoin.
If I had even known about that, I wouldn't have done it because I wouldn't have understood it. But now, knowing what I know, I sure wish I had known about it back then.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. Where can you spend it?
Lance, you can spend it all over, man. There's places all
Well,
over
right
New
now
York
you
that
can
accept
spend
Bitcoin.
it,
There's
but-
all kinds of websites that accept Bitcoin. Amazon.com accepts Bitcoin. eBay accepts Bitcoin. You can spend it all over the fucking place, brother. They're not going to be able to stop this shit. They're not going to be able to stop it.
Well, see, with Bitcoin, though, even when there's a collapse, when this collapse happens, even if you have Bitcoin, I don't see that being very helpful because when the shipping stops, the trucks stop. When credit stops, everything stops.
Oh
So-
yeah, if the electronics go
How's it
down,
gonna help
if the
you?
World Wide Web goes down or something, then Bitcoin's going to be worthless. I fully
Yeah.
believe that, unless they can keep it running on the dark web. I don't know. They might be able to keep it running because it's blockchain. I mean, if there's
Right.
if there's any kind of electricity around and they can go computer to computer, even if it's just across one town, it might still be viable. But
Well, yeah, and there's other countries that aren't maybe as messed up, They probably will still have their computer systems, or who knows?
right.
Who knows?
No, Charlie, I haven't heard you one bit, man. I've been kind of wondering where you were. I didn't know if you were just calling in to add in and listen, or what are you doing, man? Try hanging up and coming back on. Hang up, buddy. Hang up for a second, and I'll add you back in. Try to get you back in the last couple minutes so you can shout hey to everybody. Because it's been a while since we spoke to you. So hang up, and I'll get you added in. I'll try to click over and add you in again. All right, there we go. Skype, Charlie Urbanczyk.
Well, we went from 95 degrees down to colder than hell, okay? Because
Yeah.
it dropped down to cold. It was so cold, I didn't even want to go buy any plants today to put in the garden. I usually buy those Mongolia, or what do they call those little orange flowers to keep the bugs away?
Yeah.
I usually put those in the garden to keep the bugs away, and I didn't even want to go do that.
Okay,
How
are you there,
cold?
Charlie?
In the 40s.
Ooh, that's chilly. Give me my cozy blanket.
Yeah, it dropped from like 85, 89. I think it was 89 Thursday or something. It dropped down into the 70s. It was only 72 to get today. It actually felt pretty good, except for the humidity was really high. Charlie? Charlie? Yep, I heard you click. I heard you click, man. It's got to be on your end. It's got to be the mic or something. Check your mic connections and board connections. And I heard a click. I saw you light up on Skype too. I saw a blue ring go around your wolf eyes.
Yeah, so the X22 report that you weren't talking about, but the things you guys were talking about last week, or what day was it? What day is today? Saturday?
Saturday.
So 3 days ago?
Wednesday.
Yeah, he was talking exactly like that. He said, you know, this people in the cities, it's just going to be a lot.
Yep.
Really,
you know,
really not okay.
the people that are in the know are in the know, man. It's just that easy.
See, and that's the thing. I know for certain in my heart, because of what I've studied, that this really is real. But then I've acted on it by doing the things I needed to do for prepping as much as I could do with what I had available to me. And I will continue to do that, definitely. But see, the reality is, even though you know this to be true, it's going to have to come punch me right in my face before I get in my car and drive away from the little bit of security I've been able to glean for my family and myself.
Well, this is
it's
every
going to take
reason.
a lot for me to do that.
This is every reason that you need to have a bug out bag. You need to have a bag
Oh,
sitting
I
in the
do.
corner of the room that's got all kinds of shit that you need to get you through at least 72
If you have
hours
to leave.
on the run. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, I'm going to be
Charlie.
doing that when I do that someday. I'm going to be doing that, and no one else is going to be doing it because they won't have any clue. But I know when it's time, I'm going to go, and I think the rest of the world's going to be oblivious. They won't be leaving on that same day, so I'll probably get out.
And this is something else I'd tell you. Don't ever let your car get below half a tank of gas.
I agree.
That's right. And don't be scared to go to the store and buy a box of extra large Coltex and throw them in the damn trunk, because if you get wounded, them Coltex will do the job.
Well,
True. Well,
I've heard different
see-
stories on those, and every EMT or medical technician or that I've heard talk about, they're like, that is a last resort. You know,
Yeah.
They say I'd rather stuff a cotton T-shirt than a fucking, you know, that's just a last resort type of thing. There's so
But
much
you
other
know
stuff
what that
that you
would
could
be a
spend your
good
money on that
idea
would be
for
good.
a
wouldn't it?
girl, Vaughn? A good idea. That is a perfect idea. Or like a Depend diaper, because like a girl, you know, has a vagina, and we cannot just go in a bottle. So it would be
Right.
better just to have something like that, so that if you couldn't stop or didn't want to, you could at least still relieve yourself and still go as far and quickly as possible.
Charlie, did you make it on? I see you there sitting in the background, buddy.
Hi, Charlie.
Oh, I just saw you light up again, man. I heard a click. There's something going on your end on the audio, brother.
Yeah.
All right. We're over time anyway, man. Charlie says hi, everybody. He's trying like hell to get on here and say hi. So
Hello,
just know that he's here.
and goodbye.
Take care.
He won't be here on Wednesdays because he's still taking his tests and shit to try to get his ham license. But, yeah, maybe we'll get him loaded up next Saturday. I'm going to keep doing Saturday shows for a little while anyway. It's not quite June yet. It's not quite summer yet. We're still getting a lot of rain. It actually pissed on me when I went out to the truck earlier. So, yeah. Anyway,
It's raining here too right now.
yeah, you guys are actually going to get some pretty decent storms up in the northern half of Georgia. You're supposed to wind up between
Oh, goody.
3 to 5 inches of rain, they're saying.
Woohoo.
So, yeah. All right. Let me pull this thing up here and see what I'm doing. Got to get out of the show. Go to the control room. Thank you very much. All right.
It's been real.
Hey,
Love
thanks,
y'all.
Thanks, Vaughn. I appreciate you coming
Bye.
on, brother. Help me shoot the shit for 2 hours. Kim, thank you too. And all you guys out there that are listening, and maybe the ones that are watching later on YouTube sometime later. Love, peace, and cookies, everybody. See you Wednesday.